now ready to call the regular meeting to order. I being a little bit past 7:30, 7:35. Clerk Jalamas, can you call the roll? Oh, you're right. I apologize. Could everybody please rise?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now can you do roll call?
Assessor Moylan Cry.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Fitzmarie here. Clerk Giovanna's here. Supervisor Moraz.
Here.
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Carabota. Here. Trustee McKenzie.
Here.
Trustee Sweeney.
Here.
The first order of business is to have a motion for approval of the minutes of the April 3rd, 2018 Supervisor's Annual Financial Statement meeting.
Motion for approval of the minutes of April 3rd, 2018 Supervisor's Annual Financial Statement meeting.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, Clerk Jalamas, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Moraz.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Carabota.
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie.
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Now I'd seek a motion for approval of the minutes of April 24th, 2018 bill pay review.
Motion for approval of minutes of April 24th, 2018 bill pay review.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, Clerk Jalamas, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Moraz.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Carabota.
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie.
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney.
I have edits to make.
Okay, I recognize Trustee Smith.
Thank you. On page 2, there's 2 comments, public comments, both with Ms. Donna Adam and Mr. Joseph Egan that I wanted to address. So at the bottom of page 2.
Wait, are we talking about the bill? We're on the approval of,
I'm mistaken, Glenda. Are we in bill pay or the minutes of the board meeting?
Bill pay review.
bill pay.
I apologize.
So if you would withdraw that?
Correct.
Okay,
I will say yes without exception.
okay. So did we vote?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Those minutes are approved. All right, now I seek a motion to approve the minutes of the April 24th regular board meeting of 2018.
Motion for approval of minutes of the April 24th, 2018 board meeting.
All right, and can I have a second?
Second.
Having a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
Yes.
All right,
On page 2 of the, under the public participation section, which is the last third of the page, as it pertains to the 2 residents that had spoken, since it looks like there was some comments about verbatim things that were said, I went back to the tape and wanted to point out that there needed to be a couple of changes. So where it said that Ms. Adam presented a spreadsheet with actual expenditures per supervisor's report from the year end to 2018, and pointed out savings of $336,085 to Maine Township taxpayers. What I'd like that substituted with is just more clarity, which says Donna Adam pointed out that if Maine Township were to reduce the budget by 5% down to $6,385,608, that would represent a savings of $336,085 over the last year's expenditures. And the second paragraph, as it pertained to Joe Egan, where it says, Mr. Egan hold on a second. He stated his opinion that the Maine Township budget is excessive and the residents are overtaxed. He commented the budget was misleading and he shared his suggestions such as freezing the budget and considering lowering next year's tax levy. That would be substituted with, Mr. Egan commented that said budget is misleading, and that he shared his suggestion, such as freezing the spending, meaning taking out the word budget, and consider lowering next year's tax levy. And I have that written out for Keisha.
So is that what, just to clarify, is that what the tape said when you listened to it?
Yes, freezing the spending.
And the same
I mean, otherwise we could refer to, refer to.
So it was my recollection that with respect to, I think, right about Mr. Sweeney, Mr. Egan, I think, and I could be wrong, but I listened, I thought that Donna Adams had given us a spreadsheet and did point out the savings and talked about a 5% cut with respect to levy. But again, I'd have to check. My suggestion is, as we previously were doing, is to say CV.
Right, but if we're gonna have it, that's why
Right.
sometimes we're using verbatim in the minutes.
No, I would say to take it all out.
Forces us to have to correct it.
I would say to take it all out.
Yeah,
But see video.
You could say see video. That's fine.
Does anybody have
I'd rather be more in the habit of.
No.
Okay, because that would be along the lines of what Clerk Gilamis and all of us agreed. If we just say public participation, put the names, see video.
So then the movement of motion, trustee Jones, would you move to amend
Yeah.
your motion to have the public participation comments reflect for both speakers to refer to comments on the video?
I think it should be my motion, right?
No, she
Should
should
make the
motion
actual-
pending.
Oh,
So
okay.
then, yeah.
Okay. So I make a motion to amend the previous motion that I made regarding these minutes to replace the public participation sections with Donna Adam and Joe Egan with see the video. See video.
And then I believe it was trustee McKenzie that did the second to that motion. Did you amend your second?
Correct.
Okay, second.
Having an amended motion with an amended second, can we call the roll? I'm sorry, is there any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Marasco?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota? Yes. Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
All right, moving right along, I am requesting a motion for approval of the minutes of the May 8th special board.
Motion to approve the minutes of May 8th special board meeting.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Gilamis, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Marasco?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
All right, now we are at the portion I. Is there any public participation on any agenda, on any item that's not on the agenda with respect to a township inn? All right, seeing none. Now I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the general assistance expenditures.
Make a motion to approve the general expenditures. General assistance checks, number 51273 through check 51326, in the amount of $79,973.98. And that's for the payroll dates of May 4th, 2018 and May 18th, 2018.
Is there a second?
Second.
I mean, a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Marasco?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota? Yes. Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
Okay. Request a motion for approval of the road district expenditure.
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates May 4, 2018 and May 18, 2018. The Road District checks number 20359, check 20403, in the amount of $222,802.24.
Second.
I mean, a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Clerk Gilamis, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Marasco?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
And finally, I would ask for a motion for approval of the general town fund expenditure.
2018 and May 18, 2018, and general town fund checks number 55900 through check number 55979 in the amount of $352,440.40.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Marasky?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
Alright. Next item on the agenda is discussion and potential vote on hiring a full-time program coordinator for the Maine Streamers Department, and I'm not sure if Dana or Marie wants to. I'm sorry, Marie's gonna do it? Okay, one step up. Oh, in your board packets, you will have a resume, and on your desks, there is job description.
Okay, good evening. My name is Marie, and I am the director of the Mainstreamer Department. As you are aware, Mainstreamer staff was reduced from 5 employees to 4 to 3. We have proven to be efficient without eliminating any existing programs in the last 6 months. However, it is extremely important to fill the position with the right candidate to maintain the level of efficiency. We need to have someone who will be dedicated to the township long-term, has an excellent work ethic, and has impeccable organizational skills. It is also critical that we had someone with the right personality to work as a team player within the Mainstreamer Department, as well as our Mainstreamer members. Having worked closely with Oksana on several township events over the past few years, I feel that she would be the perfect fit for this position. Thank you for your consideration.
And Oksana, the proposed starting date would be June 1st.
June 4th. June 4th, yeah.
Okay, and that is a full-time position, and the proposed salary is $46,227. There will be a deletion in your salary spreadsheets in recognition of the performance raise that will be gone. It's incorporated in there. So that will not reflect a 7%, that will reflect a 2%. And so similar how we did with Mike, exactly similar how we did with Mike. Also, we will be saving some, I want to point out to the audience that we will be recognizing some savings in insurance, as well as Oksana's position, replacement. We anticipate that that will be a lower starting salary by approximately $13,000. And we will utilize existing staff to coordinate with that position, which was agency funding, which is obviously a very important position. So just for the board's edification.
Could you clarify that again? I'm sorry. The $13,000 reduction.
Okay, Oksana's salary is 43, and we have talked about when we post an interview and hire a replacement, it would be at somewhere between 28 and 30. Yeah, so it would be, right, that's where I'm getting an approximate $13,000 of savings. Also, with Oksana and health insurance.
I don't know.
Yes,
Long
they do.
figure. So the lady left Noise Department, she was taking health insurance for her and her spouse, and Oksana is single, which is a savings of $2,000 just in health insurance. So,
Right. And Oksana has, truly shown over the years her incredible work ethic, dedication, and performance, as seen by, what I had suggested in our closed session meetings, and also you guys saw it at agency funding, and she's worked here 10 years. motion to hire Oksana, who I can never pronounce her last name, Kacha. All right. As a full-time program coordinator for the Maine Streamers Department, starting June 4th, 2018, at a salary of $46,227.
I make that motion. Do I have to repeat everything?
Yeah,
That's what I was just
you
thinking.
can waive it.
I was just trying to think of it.
And then she can waive that. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, having a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none.
Ask a question, what did, I'm sorry, the previous employee's salary, again, could you just refresh my memory on that?
38.5.
38.5?
Yeah, 38 some change, right under 39.
So, this is
But she also had health insurance that was $15,000 more than what I was saying.
right, the salary's going up 6,000 or so.
Right, but you're not going to be giving merit raise. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Giovannis, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Marasco?
With a resounding yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes, I echo that.
Trustee Carabota? Yes. Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
And Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
All right, congratulations, and, you know, let's say welcome aboard. So, wonderful. Now, the next item is approval to hire a part-time payroll finance personnel assistant for assisting Denise Jack. This has been tabled from time to time. So we are still in the midst of gathering resumes, and we have someone that we are in the midst of scheduling an interview. What I'm seeking here is similar to when Mike had to hire the hall monitor. You know, we're really at a time where this is a needed, and it was built into the line item that we'll be talking about in a little while. This was proposed at a $15 an hour rate, and I believe it was 18?
18 or 19
Uh,
underneath, but there's no benefits.
Right, there's no benefits at all. No IMRF, no pension, nothing. No insurance. And so what I would like is to have hiring committee have the authority to hire prior to the June 22nd board meeting. With like putting your trust in Dana and myself and Denise to interview. You know, we literally had one applicant who's, I might add, way overqualified for this job. So, can I have that motion? And I'll shorten it up. Seeking a motion to hire part-time payroll finance personnel assistant, that's a typo, personnel assistant at the rate of $15 an hour for no more than 18 hours a week and no benefits.
So you making a motion?
Yeah, I'm making a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Can you call the roll, Clerk Giovannis?
Supervisor Marasco?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota? Yes. Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Just one clarification before, I vote. It is factored in, as you had said, against your budget, and I just want to say because of that, you know, which I was very appreciative that you had done the things that you've done. So I had previously written something in a board packet in the meeting minutes and said, you know, it was really contingent on looking at what we could do to bring down the budget. So I will say yes, and I'm appreciative of that. So I think Denise will really look forward to having that assistance.
Yes. Wonderful. Okay, now we're going to move to old business. So our first order of old business is the approval of the health insurance renewal, which you had the presentation at the board meeting, and I don't think Catherine needs to do another presentation. She did a bang-up job. This board expressed satisfaction that she had negotiated it down to 6.53. Oh, I always get this number wrong. It's Susan at 6.38. Okay, 6.38. Again, which is all built into the budget already. And that represented significant reduction over what it had started out being. So we need this approved tonight because our paperwork has to be filed, and so that everybody's not left without health insurance. So, can I have a motion to approve the health insurance?
Motion to approve the health insurance is presented.
All right, having a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Having a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Yulamis, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Marasco?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweet?
Yes.
Okay, so I can send you that paperwork.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
Okay, good one. Thank you.
Thank you, Del. Sorry you came up.
Nice to see you.
I just thought if they had questions.
Thank you for coming out.
All right, next item, under old business, and again, this has been tabled from time to time. Presentation, discussion, and possible vote on the RFPs previously presented by Vicki Rizzo for the upgrade of safety measures focused on making Maine Township our target.
I'd like to table it for now.
So are you making a motion to table?
Yes.
All right, and is that tabled to the next board meeting or?
To the next board.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
All right, is there a second? Is there a second? We having a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, could you call the roll, Clerk Giuliani?
Supervisor Marasco?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweet?
Yes.
Next item is discussion and potential action on the following procedures and policies as submitted by the committee that was appointed, trustees Terabota, McKenzie, and Sweeney. And I appreciate their hard work on this. I know that all board members were supposed to submit revisions. I've been CC'd on hearing Lynn, did a lot of redlining and whatnot. I'm going to make a motion to table this till the June meeting, because so that we can, and I believe in your email you said something about that as well. It's fine, I know there's a policy on policies, if we want to pass that, we can, but rather than do it piecemeal,
Yeah, I will second that. I was gonna make the motion to,
that's what I thought.
so, however, I think, with consideration that there are some policies that we really need to consider, and I wish it had been in place even in the last couple of months, so.
I understand.
And they continue to be a problem not having something formally in place. So hopefully with our new attorney and working this out, and I appreciate Carrie Lynn that you had given some red line changes, I think. Is it okay that I comment on this though? I think it's-
Usually a motion to table is not debatable, but we probably should talk just about the procedures for this anyway. I don't know if all the board members got my resume.
No, that's primarily why I was
Yeah,
going to
and then,
ask if you had copies of it and then we could look at it because
And I-
since we're committing,
next
you
time,
really can't be in a position of passing it without looking at this.
and I
taking the time to
think
do
maybe
that.
the one of the public access counselor, did the one I sent you have any changes? Because the one I printed out did, so I might not have sent you the right version of that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, what about one?
The public access counselor policy that I sent you, did it have any changes?
Yeah, I didn't see any changes.
Okay, then I think I sent the wrong version of this one. And then I also wanted to give you, I told you that my law partner Stuart Diamond prepared very short rules of order. I know you wanted, or potentially state Robert's rules, but I wanted these to give you so you can see
Yeah, that's fine.
what they are.
Right. I just think, in my opinion, going with kind of the gold standard and what's been acceptable in the industry, it makes sense to stick with, since we believe in that, and that's what most boards use. But I'd love to see some of the considerations of whatever is in here. So, you know, I got, the first chance I got to look at this revision changes were like 5 o'clock tonight, so I didn't get to pass this on, I didn't get to finish reading what they had sent me, so.
Yeah, and usually we won't be getting you something the night before the board meeting, we're just getting used to
Yeah.
working with the townships.
Right.
It's great you got to that, that's great.
Yeah, so I appreciate.
And I'll attest it was at 11:30 at night.
Yes. I appreciate that. I think that most of them, I mean, I would encourage the whole board, obviously, to look at it, because most of the things you did was not get involved in changing what, you know, we have decisions to make, I think, on a couple of things as far as timeframe, when we expect to have, you know, if we want to put something on the agenda, how far before, you know, maybe what, it's 6 business days or 6 days, you know, it's, there's, we can even comment, it could, maybe it should be business days, whatever, but, everybody should do that so that we can finally hopefully get this passed next meeting.
Well, whatever the first policy was that I read said, we don't want this to like be filled with legalese or whatever, so I kept that in mind during my review of all of
Yes.
them.
And the other thing is, as far as edits and updates now, because I know I had passed this back on to you, I'm a Mac user, so I use Pages, and I had to figure out how to move it over to DocX, and had half of them written, one half and whatever, so I moved it back to DocX, so you have control over that. I don't think I can edit that back again. So, I don't know if you can move it over to Pages. Yeah, so,
My IT people might be able to do that.
okay. Because then maybe anybody that has changes, since we're the committee, I don't know that it's necessary we meet again, but that, you know, we submit it for consideration in advance if there's something that you want to change.
That would be, I was actually just gonna make the suggestion that, I do have some additional, you know, policies that I don't think are very controversial or anything.
Okay,
And so I was gonna make the suggestion that, you know, I know that you had sought trustee and board input, you know, being with the budget, I think that became a little unfeasible. So, I was gonna make the suggestion that everybody have any policy or changes get submitted directly, with the CC to me, if that's okay, to Carrie Lynn, and then given to us maybe a week before the board meeting. But that is probably at the same time as the agenda, or the Monday, it can be the Monday before, just so that people do have time to read it. I mean, you guys can go back and forth as you want, it's fine with me, but as a general
I just
rule,
wanted
I'm
to
saying
conscientious
anybody
about legal
does
time.
have
We
any.
talked about spending an hour, we approved an hour of legal time to review what we had done, so.
I know, but that was before we got, right, that was when they were in the room, so.
So that's the hour that she's already spent.
Right, right, so it's obviously, but you still want them to be legally correct, I would assume. And I honestly don't think we very many unofficially. So, it was just to have a central repository, so that
Right.
people are not emailing each other back and forth, and it gets to be us. Just a thought.
Well, I mean, another alternative is, I don't know, if you feel like you need to do a special meeting just for purposes of doing the policies and handing them out, maybe we should a meeting, but I could even just show them with our laptop and just, you know, you could just do them at a public meeting. That would be faster than administrative.
Why don't we,
Things to get, I mean, 'cause I thought.
yeah. So
That's
why-
fine, if we, you know, that's fine. Yeah.
I can't really speak up, I can't.
Oh, I said that, that's fine with me.
To table it and,
Land in the repository and just,
without a special.
changes, right. I don't think we need a special meeting because we've got it on the next board meeting to talk about.
Right.
I mean, we would need more time than, it would be I guess in my mind, it would be different if we had a whole number of things, you know, like a lot of things to previously review, but we're kind of starting this from scratch. And we've got, you know, and the other thing I look at this as being a working document, in fact, it can always be updated. There's nothing locked in stone here. You can, you know, add in the next board meeting or whatever. It's not, right?
Yeah.
So,
That was sure what I was saying. Right. Okay, can we, I think we have a motion to table and a second. So Clerk Jalamas, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Rask?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
yes.
All right. Next order of business is new business. And I'm going to make a motion to approve the staff performance-based increases as presented. And the cost of living increase is tied to CPI of 2.0 for staff, 1.5% for department heads. And is there a second?
Second.
Having a motion and a second. I'm opening this to discussion. Also, keep in mind, there will be a change on, the bottom line on Exana will stay the same, but the change would be 2%. Okay? So if everybody could amend their salary spreadsheets. I recognize Trustee Carabota.
Thank you. I would say as a resolution is this issue, that we show these as bonuses, one-time bonuses, as presented by the speakers here today. I think they said it better than I could as to why. Allow the numbers to stand just to show them as one-time bonuses.
Trustee Singh.
I would concur with that. I think when we had discussed what we were looking at doing and as it pertained to either cost of living adjustment or merit-based raises, we had also talked about bonuses. Because we felt that, you know, we were looking at a way to reduce what was previously $1 million increase budget to budget year, budget to actual expenditures. And we were I was very thrilled to see that we were able to do that. And I appreciate Supervisor Maras's efforts along with Highway Commissioner Kismarski to accomplish that. Because that's been a significant, that will be a significant savings for us going forward. Otherwise would have been expenditures that would have increased having $1 million in extra cost to us, which also means it triggers IMRF, which is our retirement fund and healthcare costs. So all of that increases. I too feel that the salary versus bonuses, I think it makes a lot more sense to reward those employees and the efforts because we made the reductions that we have with bonuses.
I can certainly understand that for next year, for this year, however, we literally would have to tear apart the budget and start over again. What in closed session, and I think it's an excellent idea, bonuses, that was really the intent behind performance-based raises. So in closed session, it had been asked by Trustee Carabota with respect to bonuses, and Trustee Carabota and Trustee Sweeney had offered to research that. I ended up picking that up, and so research was reported back at the next closed session that it didn't violate any Dillon's rule. However, nobody asked me to pursue anything. So I just want to point out that at the last board meeting, and I believe the board meeting before that, there had been a motion to have the total Maine Township budget to range from $6,385,608 to $6,721,693. That range represented a reduction of 5% over last year's actual expenditures to 100% i.e. flat. Okay. So it was actually stated that Dana and I and the other departments got this, to where that number was, that it would be not micromanaged, for lack of a better word, I don't mean it in a derogatory fashion. And I would also point out that the salary line item has decreased from actuals by over $200,000. So, for all those reasons, as I believe Ms. Adams had said in one of the public comments, we really are taking some of the cost savings. But structurally, we can't like change it from bonuses today. And so I'm asking for a motion, or actually a vote on as is. Because that was what was stated to me would be acceptable if I built everything in and nobody expressed any interest in it.
So we were on tape actually saying that if we could get the numbers within that range, that's what we were looking at. And we would then take a look at what we could do to accommodate salary / bonus / COLAs. We made no commitment to that. So the presentation of a flat to a -5% is really looking at that. That we would then factor in what we would be able to do to accommodate some type of increases, be it a pool of money that could be allocated for bonuses.
I don't have an argument. That's actually not what was stated. But the bottom line is that it's part of the budget. It's been factored in. I'm going to point out at this point that the town fund had a 5% reduction from actuals. GA had a 1.8 reduction from actuals, and Road and Bridge had stayed flat at your guys' negotiations. So,
Well, I think you and your factory plan, sorry,
Trustee Sweeney.
the 5% you're referring to accounts for the $400,000 transfer. I think you're talking about the $3.8 million is
No, 5% is for town fund. No, that has
right. Town
nothing
fund
to do
alone
with
is the 3.8.
it has nothing to do with the previous transfer. It was the year before.
No. Okay. Last year's actual was
For salaries, I'm talking about.
oh, you're talking about salaries alone.
Well, right, but then the whole thing together.
I thought you were referring to overall town fund showed 5% reduction.
Yes.
I disagree with that.
So, is there any other discussion?
I would add to it that, the discussion that, the concern is that on a go-forward basis, and especially looking at the big picture of who we're representing here, which are the taxpayers of our community in Maine Township, that one of the driving forces that's really taking people to consider moving out of their homes is property taxes that keep going up. We are totally funded property taxes, almost all. So what we're doing to people is asking them year after year. We've had a windfall of, providing COLA almost every single year. We have an opportunity here to provide that 1 to 2% plus some bonus for people that have, because we're downsizing, we're doing the right thing this year, which I think is fantastic. But when you look at year after year, if we're always not, and Mr. Egan, I believe, had said it tonight, we're looking at homeowners in Maine Township that are not keeping pace with inflation. But then what we're doing as township officials is providing a hedge against that by protecting with cost of living adjustments of 1 to 2% every year. People have not gotten raises in 5 and 6 years. And then if we're talking about giving merit-based raises on top of that of between 2 and 6%, that's a lot more money than we're seeing that people are getting that are actually paying out of their tax dollars for these salaries. Many people who don't live in Maine Township that work here. So I thought it was great that we had the opportunity to provide some bonus to people for this year that would equal what we talked about pretty significant money. But to say that that would be the new base next year and the year after that we now grow and, you know, we've shown, the statistics have shown between 2009 and 2016 that we've given we've had a 20% increase in salary. The average homeowner has only had 7% increase in salary during the same time frame. So we're triple what we're getting in salaries, or what we've allocated in salaries for Maine Township. So while we've done the right thing this year, and we've cut the budget significantly and kept it flat, you know, that's terrific. But I just can't see that we're committing to doing that year after year, where we have a base upon which we're going to increase our IMRF. I mean, our pension fund alone is over $300,000 we spend every year, from what I had calculated it to be. And so now we're just going to increase that, and, you know, we've already talked about general assistance being considerably over, you know, our administrative overhead being over 80%. So I can't see how we can justify something other than bonuses for this year.
Thank you, Trustee Sweeney. All right, Clerk Gilamis, can you?
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee McKenzie.
So, you know, I'm hearing a couple of different questions or concerns about the salary increases, but I'm not hearing, you know, we don't want to consider it at all. So based on the time and all the things we need to do and the budget being the focus of tonight, can we pass the budget? Can we table the salary so that?
No, because it's part of,
Well, I'm saying pass the budget the way you presented it and table the discussion on the merit salary increases that are permanent versus the bonus method. But what I'm hearing is I think that we're still trying to figure out how we feel. I'm saying we, I don't mean we, I mean each of us feel as to merit versus bonus, especially hearing from the public participants. And one of the things that I heard tonight, which I didn't think about being an option, was having, I don't remember if it was, I think it was Joe Egan who said the library board and the city of Park Ridge did some kind of review and suggested that as a possibility for us to do a benchmark. I think that would provide the data, especially for next year, but for this year's salary increases, I think that we pass the budget with the salary numbers that you have in here, but maybe leave it to the next meeting, table it to the next meeting to decide this merit, permanent versus bonus. I heard something about COLA, but I think it would be best for everyone, especially the employees.
I'm not sure why it would be best for the employees.
Because I think that there were, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's all right. Okay, today is literally the first time that I've heard anyone request to proceed on bonuses the day the budget's, you know, you guys have had the budget. I know you mentioned it in closed session, but I would have spent, you know, Dan and I would have torn those figures apart and done this. This has been tabled at everybody's request for 3 months. And you know, I don't believe Donna Adams was saying, no, don't give it. It is, these are not outrageous. The COLA is built into, is the CPI. And you wanted salary benchmarks. Joe Egan asked for salary benchmarks. We gave you guys salary benchmarks of every other township. We are below other townships. We are also below in terms of increases, well below. Other townships, the majority of them, we're doing a 3% COLA plus whatever merit they determine. We have, I believe, 14 out of 46 employees that are being put in for a merit increase. None of them are over up to 6%. I'm not sure where that's coming from. So even with the combined, a COLA is you know, cannot like give it to half the people, So I don't think that someone who's rewarded for their performance, this is the first year we've done performance-based, which I thought you guys would all be very happy about. Everybody expressed, including the public comments, to be very happy about that. But to convert it to bonuses, and I cannot do that work. I don't even know, it's not even the work, it's the morale. It's these guys have consolidated, they have been working double jobs. You know, we discovered that issue in the building. I'm sorry, Trustee McKenzie.
Can I ask for a quick recess?
Is that?
So wait,
Wait, I don't know.
So wait, okay, so, we need a motion to recess then.
I make a motion to recess for 5 minutes.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We are reconvening, and I apologize that as our attorney said that was 5 football minutes. So, long after the break. We left off, I think Claire had a motion to table.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to table the new business motion to approve staff performance-based increases as presented and/or cost of living increases tied to CPI of 2% for staff, 1.5% for department heads, to the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, having a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Oh, it's non-debatable, I forgot, it's a motion to table. All right, Clerk Gilanis, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Marasky?
In the spirit of reaching a united agreement, I'm going to vote yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
In Laura's spirit, I will vote yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes?
Trustee Sweet?
Yes.
Okay. And now we have the approval of the 2018-2019 Town Fund GA budget. In your packets, you received 2, okay? And so I believe that one of them reflects, well, they both reflect an incredible, I want to thank everybody for coming together to make these efforts to, you know, reach an agreement and unity and acceptable things for the taxpayers. One of them reflected a slight difference in the assessor's budget, and I believe Assessor Marlene Craig wants to present that.
I think it's in front of them, it should be ahead.
I didn't know if you had any additional comments as to,
I think everything made an effort. I think trustee Dave Carabota said he wanted me to get it down to 352. I can't recall yet. So it's in front. I would appreciate the 339,377.
So just so that we don't have a problem when people are making motions, we have 2 different versions of the draft ordinance, which seem to just have the same number at top. So can we label the one that has the assessor's budget, the first one at 332,267 is A, and then the one that says 339,377 is B, just for purpose of distinguishing these?
I know at the last board meeting, one of the reasons, and trustee, Assessor Marlene Craig had, you have a memo for me about the efforts she made to reduce every line item. And so the difference, I believe trustee Jones had made the suggestion instead of the 13.5 for, with this triennial assessment, 2 times in the year to like split the baby, because only one of them would be part of the fiscal year. So, and then also the adjustment in the insurance. And then as you see, she cut many of her line items to $1. So that's pretty much where that difference comes in. Still factoring it into the town fund as a whole. It is, we called it 1 and 2. So, it is still under, it is still within the range of the numbers that you requested. 6,652,355 as opposed to 6,645,245. That's the difference. Trustee Karen.
The last meeting here, looking at the numbers, there was a goal that I suggested of 95% of last year's spending. 95% of last year's spending was $315,653. In going back and forth and working a lot with Laura, if we go to the figure that was actually spent last year with no increase, we go up to $332,267. That's without the 5% cut. Wally came forward and did it. Laura came forward with carrying a lot more responsibility and did it and then some. And that's why I would like to see, I would like to go with the version A, which would be $332,267, which is spending the same as last year. I don't get the $315,653.75 with the 5% cut. But that's where I think it's a compromised position. I have to also take my hat off to Assessor Cry for coming forward and putting forth the work and the effort to reach that goal, keeping in mind that, again, the board is always here. That if there is another 1,000, 2,000, 7,000, whatever it is, that comes up and it's an unusual situation, etc. It's in the rising level of need, the board's here. At least I say that for myself, but I'm very confident for the rest of the board members that were here. So I think by the compromise position at $332,267 is where I'd like to see it go.
Part of that additional item was also, the share of, as I believe Trustee McKenzie pointed out to me in the discussion, is a share of the coal, or there would be apportioned. It's all incorporated into the final line item, which was one of the reasons that I was talking about. They sort of go hand in hand, but having said that, so we may have to amend, pass the budget to amend it. I just want everyone to be aware that if and when we reach agreement on the just table item, that, this is the understanding. I think the $7,111 difference is a remarkable, fantastic budget. The fact that she cut like 3 line items to $1, but obviously, if those kinds of raises that are the 1.5, 2.0 are given, then, we will be having to basically amend it again. So that's why it was all inclusive. But we had to break it up, right? And so you know, I also want to point out one thing. At our department head meeting, with the new assessor, you know, the property taxes are going to be late apparently this year and go up. So, you know, this assessor is not blowing smoke. Yeah, where's Liz? There you go. You know, blowing smoke that we are going to be flooded with people because I think the hope had been that Fritz Cagle was going to lower everybody's property taxes, but they're hearing that is not going to be the case. So, having said all that, there will be a need for a part-time person. I understand your guys' position. I just wanted to make those statements. You know, again, at the department head meeting, you know, complimented Liz and her department as the shining example of what every department should be doing on office supplies. And they are consistently always the lowest. Also, Marcia has to get the award this month.
We're very frugal with what we spend.
Yes, very frugal.
Everything's been very frugal with what we spend.
So, you know, that's why I wrote the memo. So I just want everybody to know, it really was more than a good faith effort. It was a great faith effort. But there is no question that the need is there. It's not a want. So, having said that, I would be in favor. I'm sorry, Liz?
Can I approach?
Sure. Come on up. Not at all.
Just to say a couple things. I just wrote a few sentences that I just wanted to read to the board members. Dear honorable board members, my name is Elizabeth Coy and I'm department manager for the assessor's office. We are reviewing our assessor budget in hopes that I would be the voice to the 16,000 to 25,000, depending on the year, of the Maine Township residents utilize our services. I have heard it mentioned that our office does not assess properties, and that is correct. We do not assess properties, but that is how the law is written for Cook County. Having said that, that does not mean our office does not offer very
I'm sorry, what's that? Trustee McKenzie.
This is just not.
I think she's giving
This is about.
and not as a resident, I don't think
No, I know,
she's.
and this is inappropriate.
No, I think she's explaining,
We're talking about something that is not on the agenda. She wants
It's on
to
the
tell
assessor's
us.
budget,
Oh, no,
I
no,
think she's
it
explaining the
relates
difference.
directly to the budget, I promise that.
I don't think she's
We need
castigating.
to call for a vote for this. This is not on the agenda.
Why can't we just let her finish her statement?
Because it's
Politely.
tentative.
I'm sorry, I'm confused. It's not, I think it's meant to, as far as I understand, it's meant to, you know, explain.
I think Liz is here to demonstrate what her
That was not.
budget
She didn't
consists
finish.
of.
Doesn't matter. It's not appropriate.
How do you know? She didn't finish what she had to say.
What I heard was not appropriate.
It is not meant to be like that at all. It truly is
I
not.
understand. I very much appreciate the comments.
Well,
So procedurally, the presiding officer, which is the supervisor, has the ability to determine who can speak in the absence of a procedural rule on this, which you guys don't have yet. So she's having this person present her perspective with respect to this, just as the assessor might have done. With the assessor kind of has her ability to do that. This is an employee of the assessor.
She's the chief deputy assessor, she's speaking on behalf of Susan.
Yeah, if you really don't want to hear what she says, you have an option to make a motion to appeal the decision of the chair.
I think that we should hear her out. I don't believe it was derogatory in any fashion to the board. And it was not intended, I mean, I didn't hear that. So I'm going to allow her to finish. This isn't in the nature of public comment. This is in the nature of if Susie stood up and talked. And if it's derogatory, I'll rule her out of order. But can you continue?
Yes. Every day as the manager of the front lines, our residents upset about the amount of taxes they are paying and walk out thanking us for our services. Time in and time out, I hear them say that we are not like governmental agencies, and they are correct. We take the time to help them solve the various problems. As you may have or may not have heard, that during the last Cook County's assessor campaign, the candidate was claiming that the system is broken, and it is true. With all the reductions that county has incurred, they do not have enough trained staff to do the job properly. This is where our office steps in. A part of our job is assisting the county assessor in helping our residents file appeals, fix high-level errors, and get residents' exemptions onto the tax bill. This is just a bare minimum of what our offices do. In 2019, we will be going through a triennial reassessment. Just recently, the news media has mentioned that the Cook County assessor has begun using a new model to assess property values. The lake value assessments were sent out, according to the news media, that have increased 50 to 70%. If this is true, I would expect our assessments to be increasing substantially, and this will bring our residents to our township in full force. I have heard each of the trustees mention that we are working on being transparent, and I believe that is a very good thing, but we must also be accountable. If we are unable to offer our same level of services to our residents, we must be able to be accountable to them as to why. I encourage each of you during the tax season to make a phone call to the treasurer's office and then to make the call to our office to see the level of our services. You will see why our residents believe in our services. I hope that each of you will take the time to stop into our office to view the level of traffic and the interaction of our office with our residents. If you are unable to come in, I hope that you will send a friend.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? All right. So now, procedurally, right, I'm going to make a motion to adapt. I am going to make a motion to adapt what, for the purposes we're calling town fund budget, general GA budget B. It's $6,652,355.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, is there any more discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Giovanni, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Morass?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
No.
Trustee McKenzie?
No.
Trustee Sweet?
No.
All right, now I will make a motion to adapt what we're calling A for the town fund and GA 2018-19 budget. That is $6,645,245.
Second.
Give me a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Morass?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweet?
Can I just get clarification that we talk about what we're appropriating? Or you're saying, because I'm looking at, when you say adopting the budget, it's $4,676,000 appropriated to.
I'm sorry, I apologize. No, I was adding,
That's why
I was adding and throwing.
It's not a $6 million budget.
No. I didn't just add $2 million to the budgets.
Yeah. Got my eyes popping.
I will withdraw the motion completely. I withdraw the second. Kim is withdrawing the second. Yeah. And I
Actually, then your motion was to adopt version A.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yes.
So I think you just stated the.
I'll just say the wrong
So
number.
just amend your motion.
All right, so I'm gonna amend my motion to take the total appropriation, is $4,683,360.
676. We have to change the first vote because the first vote was the incorrect amount too. So the first vote on budget B should have been 4,683,000. And we really should state per fund.
Hang on a second. Yes. All right, and so this is the right one. I don't know why I did that. She also gave me that one. Okay, all right. Never mind. All right. I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
Well, the first one, the first vote that we took was the incorrect amount was stated because it should have been 4,683,000 for the one that was budget B that you first presented. The first vote that we took was incorrect too, in terms of the amount of money that was being.
Ah, okay.
We just need to clarify what budget B was, which is the town fund of $3,858,460 plus the general assistance fund of $824,900, totaling $4,683,360.
Okay, so the record will stand corrected with respect to that.
And now apparently I had a mistake on it. Okay, so my amended motion right now is for a total appropriation of $4,676,250. Everybody have the same number. Okay. And
And I
then
think that was the last vote then, so I, right, everybody had said,
Yeah, you have to vote again.
so, no, so I just have to say 352, yes. Correct. Second.
Corrected motion.
corrected motion carries, just so we're all clear. 2018-19 the version just taken. You'll be getting it passed down to some. The next motion I need is for approval of the 2018-2019 road and bridge budget. And that has a total appropriation, $1,968,995.
I move to appropriate for the road and bridge budget as stated.
To approve it, I would second that.
Having a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Gillanis, can you call the roll?
Supervisor Marask?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Carabola?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
Okay. We are now up to officials' reports. I'm going to start out, and I'm going to keep it extremely brief. One sentence, well, two sentences. First off, our website is live. So, okay, thank you to everybody who worked very, very hard. And I invite all of you to go there. The address is different. It will be redirected. It is Maine Township.
No, Maine Town.
Maine Town, I keep getting it backwards. So www.mainetown.com. It's tremendous. Really great. So, and the second thing is I do want to thank our staff and for this past several weeks and the whole year, but the several weeks of really intensive coming together in labor and work and figuring out these building issues and whatnot. And congratulations to Oksana. That's all I have. I'm gonna go in this order. Trustee Jones.
I'll be brief too. I just want to run down a few things. This month has been extremely busy with the budget workshop and the special meetings that we've had. But in addition to that, I attended the Senior Expo, which was fantastic. All of the mainstreamers did a wonderful job. Thank you, Maria, Monica, and Teresa. And also attended a meeting with the Metropolitan Reclamation District with our highway department with some flooding and engineers to discuss some ways to remediate flooding in the area. I also attended the 90-year-old birthday party last week at the Chateau Ritz and was astonished by how many celebrants we had and how happy they were just to do that. It was a wonderful luncheon, and I want to again thank the mainstreamers, and thank you very much. That's my my reports.
Trustee Carroll.
We've accomplished a lot this last month, but it was really a team effort. All the staff here, all the people that worked so hard, answering all of our questions, everybody answering all our, giving us the information we need. Our council, Wally, Susan Cry, everybody just did a fantastic job. And I think it's going to hash out. I think you're going to find that as we go on and we go further, I think you're going to find a lot of positive response by the taxpayers and also by the recipients that receive the benefits of our township. I also very much enjoyed the 90-year-old birthday party. I think we had 136 people that attended.
134 celebrating.
134 celebrants, and then also her sister was really great. Also went to the TOCC meeting in Countryside. That was very informative. And of course, my packet, I'm walking around with Marty Cooks. And picture here, I love the article that came out in the paper. The fellow next to you, though, just looks an awful lot younger. But it was really great, and I thank both of you for keeping up the great work you do in working with youth when it comes to controlled substances and others. It's fantastic. Thank you.
I don't have any additional work. I also attended the 90-year-old birthday party, but again, I just want to give thank you to the staff and everybody that worked so hard in this budget, so we appreciate it. I also think they really understand that we're trying to do the best we can to look at streamlining the efficiencies and spending money wisely. Thank you.
While the supervisor's looking at the discrepancies in our admin, what kind of report?
The only thing I wanted to say is have a safe and happy, healthy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Hope to see you guys at the Park Ridge Parade. I'll be there. The weather looks good.
Highway Commissioner?
I just want to thank my staff, particularly Dawn Heyman, for helping with the revision. It was a team effort, but she did a lot of the grunt work in terms of formatting the budget. And other than that,
Assessor?
Thank you. I just want to say that our office did do 642 appeals for this last period for the assessor being open. Also, we have done 1,001 permits, so there's a lot of building and additions and things going on in that respect. Attended the Senior Expo and the 90-plus birthday party, and did a presentation for the Center of Concern with a Q&A at the end, and I think it was pretty helpful. A lot of questions were answered for people. Did 2 reach-out presentations for appeals, one at the Des Plaines Library, also one here at the Township. Also attended a presentation done by the Cook County Recorder of Deeds in Glenview, and found it very informative and something that we want to bring back here to the township. I'd like to thank my office and staff for their support, and I want to thank the trustees who showed their support for my office and for the assessor's office. So, have a good night, have a safe holiday.
Thank you. All right, attorney's report.
I don't have a report tonight, but I did want to compliment the board. I think that sometimes it's very hard when you have kind of strong personalities that are very passionate about doing things for the taxpayers, but have different views and different approaches, and I can see signs of hope for this board. Yeah, so I think that's good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, 9 o'clock's actually a good time for us, so that's.
This is good.
Yeah. Somebody asked the question, are you going to
And 1 second. We're getting a lot of documents passed out. Don't anybody leave. We're just waiting for the correct lines. She's fixing the budget. So you have the administrator's written report. I believe I can add to that. Mikey, give us a two-minute version of the mold status. And
Sure. Come off, stand up, whatever you'd like.
Sorry, and also I want to introduce our new code enforcement officer. I don't know if you guys have met him. Would you stand up again? And this is our board, and he's been doing a day of job. And can you tell us your name, because I'll mispronounce it. No, Mikey, you can come up.
Thank you for having me. My name is Maynard Gazali. I've been with the town for about 25 years, and I just want to do my best, give back to the community the best I can, and I have a great mentor here. Mike's been doing an excellent job teaching me the ropes, and thank you again.
All right, Mike, I know you've done a yeoman's job on, trying to get all of these. Yeah, the councils. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you tell me.
Okay. So it's been about a month since I've taken over the maintenance department, and basically what we found when cleaning things out was some black mold. It wasn't just in the maintenance department, we found it in one of our conference rooms downstairs, and we were aware that there was a problem in the mainstay. I had a company come out that gave us an estimate on the mold removal and cleanup and everything. And one of the things, I had my first estimate to, not an estimate I should say, someone came out just and gave me an assessment, kind of where to go down and how to get this problem fixed up. Down in the maintenance room, we're looking at, it's actually coming from the ground up, coming from the floor, and not actually coming from the wall. So with that said, he was actually suggesting a drain tile in there. The problem is, a lot of our sump pumps, the 3 of them are on the other side of the building. We do have a sump pump that is in the elevator, but whether we could actually tap into that or not is going to be, we're going to have to meet with our elevator company, Otis. That's just in the maintenance room. We also have, my biggest concern right now is what's going on in our electrical room. When you first walk in the stairs, you got a door that leads down there. We have our main power, as well as another 3 fuse boxes in there where there's some water leaking behind that. So one of the first things that he suggested was to go ahead and get an electrician out here, because we might have to go ahead and get that kind of moved away to take away from the danger of whoever might be doing this job. So as of right now, I don't have estimates on what it will cost or anything like that, but just I do have our U.S. waterproofing coming up tomorrow. I have a couple other companies that I'm working with.
That's a good company.
Yeah, so I had one come out today, but I do want to get a second assessment as well to make sure everything lines up correctly and, move forward with it. So that's kind of where we're at.
And the township, the mold problem
Correct.
is estimated at about 2,000.
Correct. The company that came in at 1,570.
Right, but that was. without-
Correct. We're gonna have another company come out.
That's not for the drain towels, that's just.
No, this is just
Right.
the mold removal cleanup.
Right, we want to get the mold out.
Yeah, and that's what I was just about to say. The first thing that we're going to do, with the approval of the board, is to go ahead and get the mold removal and get that cleaned up first, and then go from there. So, one step at a time, I guess, but we'll go ahead and get the mold cleaned up, and then take it from there. Like I said, I'm meeting with other companies coming out.
And they'll assess the safety quality of the whole downstairs.
Correct,
Alright.
correct.
And so the original assessment, I believe, was for your room and the supervisor's.
The supervisor's room, yes.
Without mainstay with the additional.
Right.
And we have some
Right.
to take care
When-
of them. And now, what I'm understanding with the concrete to fix, the problem ultimately, which has to be done, that is going to have the additional complication you're saying of this electrical having to move somewhere.
Correct. What we'll do first is we will go ahead and get an electrician to take a look at it first. And then go from there basically, but yes, basically. We'll get the electrician out here, take a look, see what his suggestions are.
And that's why the guy couldn't give you an actual.
Exactly,
because
exactly.
of that.
Right. Because as well, if you go and try to do it from the outside, we have the main that runs where they would be kind of digging into. So we have to be extremely careful with like moving forward. There's a couple steps obviously before we go ahead and get the problem of the foundation fixed and everything.
Right.
So, yes,
Okay, but you're getting a second company for the mold.
correct.
And we're anticipating doing that,
That would be first.
yeah.
And then we will get another company, which is coming out tomorrow, to go ahead and assess what we've got going on with getting it fixed and remedied for good.
For good.
Yes,
So we don't have the same.
correct.
All right.
Correct.
Excellent. Just let you know their level of work, this entire place flooded out on Friday to such an extreme that everybody's car had to be moved. And it was like 3 feet. And, Dagmar and the highway, and actually Dagmar waited out and cleaned out the sewer. And it receded. But, the street on that end is not us, it's Park Ridge. And we can't figure out where that's coming from. Yeah, that affects us. So, I know Park Ridge is inundated with their flooding issues, but they may have another one on their hands. In terms of maybe we need some kind of intergovernmental thing down the line. So I did your report for you.
For me? Oh.
Well, that was filling in on the.
Can I pass out something really quick?
Sure.
I have those little contact cards.
Thank you.
Are you
Yeah,
done?
yeah, that's it, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I didn't know if you were gonna talk about the building stuff, so.
No, I actually.
I did it for you.
Just replacing the opposite of the code enforcement officer, so Data's information is on here, just replace it. Thank you.
I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn. Have a motion and a second. Would you like to say all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. Pete, you don't really have to say all of this.
All opposed?
Yeah.